These young men have just joined the Royal Marines. Each wants to be a commando, to wear a green beret. These men want green berets too, but they're trained soldiers, mostly from the army. They're now being tested to see if they're fit to serve with Britain's commando forces. All of them are now trying to pass what is claimed to be the world's longest military training and selection course. Only then will they be given green berets. Although Marines have been winning battles as part of the Royal Navy since 1664, it was Churchill who fathered the Royal Marines Commando Forces by merging the fighting skills of naval Marines and Army commandos during World War II. Since then, Royal Marine Commandos have seen action in some part of the world every year bar one, 1968. Their finest modern hour came when they spearheaded the retaking of the Falklands in 1982. Lympstone on the Devon coast, just a few miles from Exeter, where all wearers of the green beret are taught and tested. 100 training staff and 300 commando aspirants live and work here. Most commandos are recruited as teenagers. They must endure 38 weeks of intensive instruction. This group are in their final month of training. Only 12 of an original intake of 27 remain. The rest are being given a second chance to pass the course. Collectively, they're known as 638 Troop. This is another group in their final month, but they're older men, already serving within the Army or Navy. Known as the All Arms Commando Course, 492 is the troop designation. If these men complete 8 hard weeks and pass 4 tough commando tests, they get green berets. If they fail, they'll be sent back to their units. Of the 34 who started a month ago, just 17 remain.
If the men are here, if they've been accepted into the Royal Marines, I will train them. If they want to be trained, if they've got the mental attitude, the determination, the resilience to get through, if they make it to the end, they'll get a green beret. If they can't, they won't get a green beret.
Much of what commandos do happens at night, so they must quickly learn to function in the darkness.
Here's a test exercise. And it is a pass or fail event, so obviously we're looking for a good effort all round, a bit of enthusiasm.
It's around 3 a.m. 638 Troops Training Commander briefs his recruits about an amphibious night raid. They will try to take an old fort in Portland Harbour in total darkness. It'll be defended by an enemy, another training team armed with firecrackers and blank-firing weapons to simulate the real thing.
People think of Royal Marines as big, strong, roughy toughies, but only 20% of the training at Lympstone is physical, if you look at the overall 30-week syllabus. The other 80% are professional training and, I think, mental and stamina training.
One section is Bowdoin, Bailey, Holmes, Lyons, Potts, Wheatley.
He will often be put in situations in a commander unit that are more mental than they are physical, where he's got to think on his feet and be able to react correctly.
The route out from here, it's pretty simple. Move out of here, head southeast, under the A354, cross inland the man-made harbour, near Spink. You just summarise briefly.
Spink is just 17. Already he's been promoted to a senior recruit, a diamond. Now, for the first time, he's an acting section commander.
Those who are leading the sections, first thing to remember is that they're not section commanders, so really all I want to see from them is how they react under pressure.
Stop firm where you are. 3 sections, stay firm there, 2 sections. Dobson, move forward, clear blockade.
Section. Dalton, you come.
certainly hope they'll all get through. It's really my job to make sure as many get through as possible, because to get to this stage in training, they should all be good blokes, and really, in some respects, it's my failure if they fail, if you like.
Poole in Dorset, where 638 and all other commandos are taught the basics of amphibious warfare.
My name's Captain Page, and I'm the OC of the landing craft wing down here at Royal Marines Poole. I'm sure that at the moment all of you are really only interested in getting a green beret on your head and surviving the commando course, yeah? You're not going to pass out with this troop if you break a leg or break an arm or injure yourself. And with boats and with the sea, that happens. It's real. It is, without doubt, the Corps' most important SQ, because it is the only one that we as Royal Marines do and no one else does.
You can only tell people what the training here is like to a certain degree. You could never understand what it's like unless you actually come here and do it yourself. But it's unbelievable what people go through.
People say, what's it like, what's training like? And you say, well, it's hard, and you know, you do this, you get up that time. But unless you actually do it, you don't realise. It's relentless.
Right, good morning, gentlemen. My name is Petty Officer Air Crewman Allison. I'm here today to brief you on Arctic troop drills on the Royal Navy Sea King Commando helicopter.
Yeovilton, Somerset, and the men of the 492 All Arms Course are learning about helicopters, another principal form of commando transport, another special qualification.
So you pick an area that is quite suitable for that helicopter to land into.
Well, no, I mean, it's an 8-week course. You could do the tests in 4 days. And the 8 weeks, we aim to give them an insight into infantry skills. At the end of the day, they're going to go to commando forces, and they're going to be supporting us, the Marines at the front line, and they have got to understand what the guy at the front end has got to go through, which in turn will help them to understand how important their support is.
When helicopters cannot fly from Navy ships, commandos still land on beaches and coastlines from the sea.
The difference between how we view you and the Army, it takes the parachute regiment 4 weeks to learn to jump out of an aeroplane. Now that doesn't take the brains of an archbishop, it's a pretty basic thing. There's the door and you fall down. And that's their expertise. We expect you to hoist in a whole different variety of skills, a different craft in only 2 days.
Always class it as the best to do. If you're going to do it, you've got to really go for the best. There's no point just joining anything else, really.
This is the calm before the storm, the part of both courses when priority is given to learning infantry skills.
Well, they're told on day one that it's not about passing the tests, and they're told that they will not pass the course if their soldiering skills are not up to standard. We've found, I'm talking from experience, that the standards that they are at when they reach CTC are not good enough. They're not up to our standards. It's our job to bring them up, tone in their soldiering skills, tone up their field craft, feed in some commando skills in there, and then finish with the end product.
Right. You look at Corporal Driver will give you a demonstration then on what should be done, and then
Foggin Tor, Dartmoor, and the All Arms Course is learning more about ropes.
stand by, go!
The Royal Marines call this the death dive.
Okay. Now that was last operationally used as an evacuation in Aden on an inland cliff, and it was a very fast method of evacuating. But one thing we did find with the old rundown was it was a damn good bottle tester. Yep. It found out whether you actually had the bottle or not to really be a commando, as opposed to just being an also-ran.
The course is getting harder. There are now just 10 days to go before the commando tests begin.
You think, my God, you know, it looks unreasonable. But you go ahead and you do it, because you put your faith and your trust in the kit and the equipment and the men who are asking you to do it. And that's all what it's part about wearing the green beret, is at the end of the day, you know, everybody else has done the same as you have, so you can rely on them, and when they ask you to do something, you know that they would do the same for you. Okay, stand by.
To stay on the course, each man must try the dive twice.
Come on, a bit more effort. No, not enough. You wouldn't save a penalty. Stand by. Let's go. No. All right. That's what you get for not doing it correctly, Sergeant Major.
I was supposed to jump away from the rock and be let down and then lock off and jump back onto the rock. I tried to do it. I either did it wrong or I was locked off too hard. Bounced against the rock in a sort of odd way, you know, at an odd angle, and sustained an injury behind my knee, and also an old ankle injury which I did last year. That came back up, so I've had Achilles problems and problems behind my knee ever since.
Just check him out.
We get a lot of people join that, in my opinion, haven't got a clue what they're coming into. They're not prepared for it, they haven't prepared themselves for it, they're not mentally prepared or physically prepared, or the units haven't given them time to prepare themselves properly. They've been thrown in it at the deep end, and they just fall by the wayside in the first couple of weeks.
No, not on the front. Yeah.
Okay, just walk it off,
yeah. Stand by. 1, 2, 3.
Lovely.
Okay, and what was your reaction to that?
I need a clean pair of pants.
The recruits of 638 have injury problems too. Potts has fallen out of a raiding craft at the end of an amphibious attack.
Well, he's just coming off the raiders on that beach, and there was some sort of metal slipway girder. I jumped down, jumped into the water, and just caught the front of the girder, just twisted it. Didn't much about it. What transport there?
Sit up and move backwards.
I mean, we know we're medics, and some of them try to play it. And like, soft touch, get off the exercise or get pampered, and they'll try and take you for a ride. The best thing is to not let them.
Give a couple of painkillers, so I'll just continue the rest of it. Get an injury. Then war, got an injury, you still have to carry on.
Everybody says they'll carry on, but we'll see when we start doing the yumps.
There's a vehicle move now to Perridge, which is just northwest of Exeter.
Now he's got the injury, he'll be down. He won't be feeling like really fighting. So he's got to battle psychologically as well as physically now.
Young Potts, yeah, having survived the attack, twisted his ankle coming off the raider. I think he's going to be all right, though. The medic's seen him, and he's got a sprained ankle, but hopefully we'll be able to crack on with it. Although it might well come back to haunt him later on in the exercise.
Road journeys normally give the recruits a chance to rest and recover. But the training team spring a surprise ambush, shooting blanks at the trucks.
Very good, move! On it!
Yeah, the problem is, having finished the raid on a bit of a high, tend to relax a bit when there's the transport, the move on the roads. So they start to doze off the transport. They've got their sleepy heads on, and they really just need a bit of a shake, a bit of a waking up. And that's all really that was designed to do. Plus, a bit of pressure on spin.
Drop your kit! You can remain there here and up, just roll around the fence at the bottom. You remain drop there, your section, cover fire for speed to come down. And start moving, come on!
Down, right? Someone started firing at us, so it were an ambush on our lorries. So really, I started to put in an attack, but the team decided to get us out there as quick as we could. You've got to expect it, but you normally not expecting it when it happens.
638 troop, like the All Arms Course, are now being constantly assessed.
First of all, they got no kit on in the back of the wagon. A lot of them were sat around without fighting order on. You should never be away from your fighting order, even though you're on the back of a wagon. You should always have it on you, because that's the sort of thing that can happen.
It took a good sort of 2-3 minutes for any sort of command and control to establish, which is a bit slow.
The young recruits now face an uncertain few days. 48 hours on Dartmoor in extreme winter weather, and under threat of expulsion from the course if they don't match up to their commander's expectations.
The aim of this next instructional period is
The men
to
of 492 are already on Dartmoor, learning how to cross a river the hard way.
hopefully keep your kits dry, which is mostly unlikely in this weather. Okay then, moving on to...
It's close to freezing, raining, and they're in full battle kit.
For instance, are they piranha infested? Okay, you may all laugh and giggle. However, if you're working in tropical climates, things to bear in mind: if there is hostile fish, so to speak, in the rivers, alligators, crocodiles, etc. Okay, it's a very serious point if you think about it. Right, does anybody have any questions on packing their kit for a river crossing? Speak now, or forever drown. Okay, bearing in mind, if you're doing this in the jungle or any tactical situation, you would actually change only half of your body at one time. You have 7 minutes.
Hutch, when we're finished, you come and see me, yeah? I told you not to use that black bag.
Right, keep charging your kit, man. I don't want to see items of equipment loafing about. Stop, Mr. Dobson. Thank you. We just go across with crossed fingers, shall we?
Yeah.
Is everybody happy? Is everybody happy? Lying bastards.
Pouring scorn on men at the very limit of their endurance aims to test as well as torment.
Your equipment, but behind it. Think about tactics. You want to be behind it, one hand on the weapon. Kick him with your feet.
I'm not moving anywhere. Not because you've got that stupid bag.
Everybody's got different strengths and weaknesses. I mean, if they're a bad swimmer, a lot of people do tend to struggle on a river crossing. However, they can still be sort of a good man when it comes down to field work. But I mean, we always assess them just to see really what they're made of. So that's what we want to do at the end of the day. Oh dear, that wasn't waterproof very well. Oh dear, how sad, never mind, what a pity. Right, don't crowd the shore, move to one side. Think about...
These men are paying the penalty for not listening to their instructors.
Come on, then.
Right, come on then, bit of determination. I think you're cold. Get your kit back to your preparation area. Get into your warm kit. Right. Whose kit is thoroughly soaked? Okay, preparation. I told you 4 times to work in pairs. If you worked in pairs to start with, your kit would have been properly secured. However, you thought you'd do it all on your own, and like your kit is wet. If you don't, then, as you can see the Sergeant Major there, you've got soaking wet combat trousers. No giggle, no joy.
Despite the instructor's good humour, mistakes still get punished.
Get the old fingers going, sir.
I think one of the problems is that a lot of the guys that come on the course aren't ready for that sort of level. Normally, if you go on a course, certainly in the army, you'll go on and the job of the team or the organisation is to get you through and they'll nurture you through. However, on this course, you come on the course and it's up to you, entirely up to you. And I think mentally a lot of the guys aren't ready for it, and that's the problem. They can go off at any time. There's no pressure for them to stay. The team aren't really bothered whether you stay or go. And I think a lot of the guys aren't ready for that.
We show them how to do it correctly, and then obviously they are rushed slightly, as is part of life. And then they can see from that if they don't get it right, it will get wet. As it is now, they're away off to O camps and camp, so they can dry their kit out during the evening for tomorrow and that. However, on the final exercise and subsequent exercises, they're going to be in the field for a week, and the kit will stay wet.
Right, these are orders for an ambush task for tonight. Troop ambush task.
It'll soon be midnight, and 638's commander is briefing his recruits for an ambush exercise which will be sprung at dawn. Once again, the teenager Spink is in charge and under the microscope.
At which point, should alert Spink in the middle. When you've got them within arcs, slap the gunners either side, open fire, at which point the rest of the killer group should open fire.
Stop! Searchers! Coming in now.
The initial success of Spink's ambush has been spoiled. One of the training team playing the enemy dived unnoticed into the ditch. Errors like this must only be made in training. In war, it could be fatal.
He's dead. Yeah, now he is.
We're looking for command, basically. Young Spink, he's only 17 years old, but he took command of the fire group. He set out his searches there. We're looking for good drills on the ground. We're looking for guys that can react to contact immediately. The guys were vigilant, they were awake, and as the enemy went through, there was a big surge of firepower that went down, and obviously that'll take out most of the guys on the ground.
Spink feels he's passed the leadership test.
Not bad, some personal drills on individuals' points were a bit relaxed, so it sort of brought the whole standard of it down, but things like initial firepower went quite well, so maybe communication should have been a bit better, but you lose a lot of people, so you have to bond again at the end. Like, we've only got 12 originals left now out of 28, so it's getting to know people again, so it makes it a bit difficult.
These 12 going out. Everyone's stood 2.
Spink's self-satisfaction isn't mirrored by the training team.
Get clearance patrols out. You should realise you're reoccupied. Yeah, nobody's been here all night. Clearance patrols out and get your sentries out. And crack on with your work routine. Get a wet down you. Obviously check your feet out, clean your weapons and all the rest of it. Right? Tell everybody.
Really, as much as I can put into it without, you know, wrapping when they get cold and wet. Seems to happen quite a lot. When you're out there, you're tired, you know, it's not enough. It's hard not to do, but, you know, it's best if you try and your best to stay awake and things like that.
Despite the apparent success of the action, 638's commander decides the time has come to shake up his exhausted but complacent recruits.
Overall, it went smoothly. Good control from the section commanders and the troop commander, Spink. However, where it fell apart was individual skills, basic professionalism and individual skills. The problem there, we got bunching. As soon as it got a bit dark in these forest tracks, people start to get scared. I don't know what. Human nature, I suppose. It gets a little bit dark. You start to close up your front, you lose a guy ahead of you. So it ends up with a big gaggle. The ambush itself, as I say, we moved in there, not a problem. Once we're in there, virtually to a man, the whole troop rapped on me. The corporals visited you various times throughout the night. And I reckon 80% of you at any one time were asleep, which is just not on. In about 4 weeks' time, hopefully you'll all be in units. They won't put up with that sort of thing. It's up to you then. You won't have training teams to kick you up the butt. It's up to you yourselves. Have a bit of pride in yourselves. Okay, quick as you can.
Lieutenant Gillies has now to deal with a far more serious matter. During the night, recruit Snazelle took someone else's gun, and the time has come to deal with him.
Snazelle. I don't think you did last time. Bring you on. Yeah. You got mine. Okay, you fell asleep, which is inexcusable. It's one of those things. The training team found you asleep. You took your weapon, all right? One of those things that happens. You take a bollocking for it, you take it square on the shoulders. I don't believe that you stitched up. Basically what you've done is stitch up your upper. You went and took someone else's weapon. Can you imagine what would happen to you in a unit if you did that? There's no place in the Marines for blokes that shit on the rifles, basically.
The rest of the people in the wreckage drowned. They didn't die in the crash.